Hi, this is Dr. Janowski for Sonata Aesthetics. We're going to do a number of fillers today. We're going to do Sculptra, and we're also going to use Restylane for the under eye, and we're going to use Restylane Kiss for the lips. So you can combine these treatments into a single treatment. It's not a problem as long as they're not in the same areas as the Sculptra. And so Jeanette said all these products before, but she's getting hollow in the usual places, and she's a really good Sculptra candidate. We've done many Sculptras in the past, so we're going to do some more today. And then again, we'll do lips, and she just has a little bit of hollowness in the under eye, not a lot. So I will show you how to do all those things. There's a cannula in the temple. Some people like to place the Sculptra deep. I like to place it superficially with the cannula, and we're using here 3 cc's. Our Sculptra is the typical 9 cc dilution. And we're just going to put it really just under the skin here above the muscle where we can get some good collagen production, and we're just going to fan it around with our 1.5 inch 25 gauge cannula, and then I'll do a little massage here. And we've pre-numbed our entry areas, that's why we see that little bump there. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll create just a little port there. And again, this is actually, I said 1.5, but it's actually 2 inch cannula, because this is one of those areas where you want to reach all the way up to the temporal fusion line, which is up here. And you'll need a slightly longer cannula to do that. And again, we're staying superficial. There's a lot of vessels here, so we want to use a cannula, and then we'll just put that in, and we can do, let's say, 2.5. So once we have our temples done, we'll just massage it a little bit, and then we'll go into this area, which I call the preauricular area. You can see she's got the cheekbone, but she's quite hollow underneath, and now we switch to needle. We don't need a cannula for these other areas. You can use one if you want. And we're going to push ahead as we do this. We got a little resistance, so we'll try to clear that. Sometimes it does clog the needle. You can see it's clogging, and keep going. So we did our preauricular area. Again, we're staying superficial. The parotid gland is under there. We don't want to be deep. We want to be just under the skin. And that was 2.5 cc's there. And we can adjust it up or down depending on how hollow the area is. I'm hydrodissecting forward here in a push ahead technique there. And again, that's the preauricular 2.5. So we'll do 2.5 again, and we're going to go into the buccal area, which is also hollow. Her cheeks look pretty good, so I don't really think she needs it right in the cheek. She needs the areas around it. So again, we're going to do a hydrodissection type technique, and we're going to push forward 2.5 cc's fanning technique like that. Here we go. Good. And then we're going to turn her this way, and for this side I like to have the patient face me so I can reach across the face, and then push this into the buccal zone, 2.5 cc's. Okay, we should have a little bit left, so we're going to do a little bit in the nasolabial areas. So we'll do 1 cc on each side. Different ways to do this. You can go deep to bone. Again, I like to stay superficial. And this is one of those areas where you want to aspirate before you inject, because the vessel there, so we just make sure we're clear. And we're staying, just subcutaneously there. Just going to massage that, and then we'll go around and do the last one here, and that's the Sculptra. That was 2 vials of Sculptra. And again, we will aspirate, and then like that. Good. blend my Restylane 1-to-1 with saline. It helps to prehydrate the product so we see less swelling afterwards. Restylane's still the best product for the under eye. I'm using a cannula here, and we're staying, again, fairly superficial here because she doesn't have a very deep trough. Just going to do a little bit here. And then we'll do some on the lateral portion of the under eye. That was just a quarter of our syringe, and our syringe is actually a half a syringe because we have blended it with saline. So we're gonna approach from the lateral side as well here, and again just do a little bit in the tear trough over here, in the inferior orbital area. Good. And then the same thing on this side. We'll start here and just be very gentle. She doesn't need much, and too much will make it look puffy and swollen. So we want to just be real gentle here. I'm going to fan it a little bit. And then lastly, we will do the lateral. Good. And we'll go ahead and we'll do this here. Always do under eye with cannula. And it will smooth out by itself, so there's not much of a concern of any lumps or bumps right now. We can press it with our finger. Good. And then the last thing is just the lips. And if the lip has a nice shape already, we just want volume, I often will use a cannula. It's a nice area to use a cannula that people don't typically do, but it makes it easier for the patient as well. And it goes in very smoothly. I'm going to use Restylane Kiss here. Again, this is a 1-to-1 blending with saline. And again, we're using a 25 gauge cannula. The key with this is to use your left hand to guide the cannula by straightening the lip. And then again, we're just gonna go lightly here. That was a quarter of this syringe, which again is really a half a syringe because it's half saline. Using that left hand to guide the cannula is key here. I'll do some on the other side. And I often give the patient an opportunity to see if half is enough. We often split the syringe into 2 separate treatment sessions so that we don't overdo it. So we know the product will go down, but it can look overdone initially. And so we've got our 4 quadrants done there. And again, we just put it right down the middle. I think that looks pretty good. So
I'm done.
Yeah, very little bleeding here. So, and we usually don't see much bruising with Sculptra or these cannula procedures. Okay, good. So good. I'll let you take a look. If you feel like the lip is enough, then we'll stop there.
Oh, it's pretty. I can't talk. No, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, so I think we'll save the other half, just like we're saving the other half of the Restylane for the under eye, which you may or may not need. I don't like to put it in all at once, and often with the lip it's the same thing. Unless someone's really volume depleted, we typically will split that into two. Okay, so there's the treatment with a combination of hyaluronic acid fillers and Sculptra in one treatment. And the Sculptra, of course, the effects of that are temporary because it's mostly just the fluid, and that will go down. And then the real effect will come weeks to months later, and the hyaluronic acid fillers, of course, are instant, and they will settle down. So remind the patient to massage the Sculptra areas after treatment, just to get a good distribution there. Okay, and that's it. Thanks a lot.